Madam, may I take questions 9 and 10 together, please?
Please proceed.
Madam, in the last 3 years, the Monetary Authority of Singapore and the Land Transport Authority have received 12 complaints and 1 complaint, respectively, from insured parties about the counterparty failing to file an accident report with their insurer after being involved in a road accident. The General Insurance Association of Singapore's Motor Claims Framework sets out the procedures for all accidents to be reported to the insurer within 24 hours or by the next working day, which is incorporated as a condition of all motor insurance policies. The procedure is not, however, mandated legislatively. Notwithstanding the above, under the Motor Vehicle Third-Party Risks and Compensation Act, an insurer cannot refuse liability on the ground that the policyholder has not reported the accident. I repeat, an insurer cannot refuse liability on the grounds that the policyholder has not reported the accident if the third party's claim is for bodily injury or death. Victims of road traffic accidents who remain unable to pursue insurance claims can file a civil claim against the counterparty or claim compensation from their own insurer. The Ministry of Transport, LTA and MAS will work with other relevant government agencies and the GIAS to review and, if necessary, strengthen the requirements for reporting road traffic accidents to insurers.
Ms. He Ting Ru.
I thank the Minister for his reply. I think the reason why I raised this question is because recently at MPS, a resident approached me for help on this matter, and obviously he had gotten involved in an accident. I don't believe that there was any any personal injury case. But there was obviously damage to the vehicle, and he was actually told at the time that nothing could be done if the counterparty failed to file an accident report with his insurance company, and therefore. The only action that he could take was a civil suit. But obviously, as you know, going to court and all of that can be stressful. It's time-consuming, and also, even though it might be a small claims tribunal, it's intimidating, and it can also be costly in a way. I think I'm just wondering whether there's anything else that can be done, even though we note that maybe only 12 complaints were received about this. Whether there's anything else that can be done. To prevent this from happening, because, again, I don't know if the ministry has any further data about how widespread this problem is, because, it might be that, no official complaints were filed and, this practice has been done. I think, there was also an article to the forum recently about this matter. So, obviously this is happening. And, I'm just wondering what else can be done to assist the motorists who actually find themselves in this unfortunate situation. Thank you.
Minister.
Madam, I thank the member for her questions. If I may sort of layer my response. First, as the member has observed herself, at least insofar as the number of complaints are concerned, it is a relatively small number, which suggests that by and large, motorists do report these incidents. And it's partly because the incentive is there for them, because if they don't, and if it were to come to pass that the insurer discovers this, then it's a violation of the contractual condition, and then there's a risk of losing the insurance contract. Secondly, the civil suit is obviously one solution and remedy available. There are a spectrum of other options available to the aggrieved party. This includes, of course, claiming from their own insurer, which I know is not necessarily an ideal outcome, but it does address the substantial financial loss, but it does mean that the no-claim bonus or etc. might be affected in that regard. And there is also in the General Insurance Association, there is a facility where such cases are referred to, And where the case is assessed to be meritorious, there is also compensation available in that regard. And finally, to reiterate the point that I made earlier, we will study this further with MAS and with the industry and others to see if there's a need for further tightening in this regard to safeguard the interests of motorists, as the member has highlighted.
Ms. Carrie Tan.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I thank the Minister for his reply. I also have a resident who is in the same predicament, and I think the larger issue here is if there is no viable means right now to take the culprit to task, what kind of message are we sending out to motorists that they can simply get away with something like this and not be responsible if they don't report it? So my question is it possible if the victim has got the personal particulars or IC number of the person who crashed, who's the culprit, can we submit that detail to LTA for their assistance to put some pressure on the person? Because rightfully, LTA is in charge of the licenses of the vehicle that this person is driving. So is that some assistance that we can get from LTA regarding these matters?
Minister Iswaran.
Madam, I thank the member for her suggestion. I appreciate the spirit and intent of her suggestion, but we do have to bear in mind a couple of things in this regard. The first is these matters are never undisputed. Usually there's an element of dispute. So ex ante, there's no case that just because one party has the details of the other party, it means the other party is the party that is the culprit or offender, in the words of the member. So any action taken by any government organization or in terms of investigation or follow-up has to be meritorious, has to be on the basis that there are facts disclosed that point to that. Having said that, I think the key point here is, first, the incentives are actually there, by and large, for motorists to make such reports in compliance with their contract. Because if the insurers were to find that they did not make such a report, and then subsequently there are claims made and then there's a set of issues, then the party concerned stands, the risk is that they stand to lose their insurance cover, and without insurance cover, you can't drive a vehicle, according to our laws. So that's, I think, a significant thing. But secondly, I think, as I have said, we will see if there's scope to do anything further by way of mandate or requirements. But again, I think ultimately, no matter what the mandatory requirements are, the system functions best when all parties concerned are aware of their obligations under the law and fulfill those obligations.